What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM and Knives and Gear, and today I am finally ready to do my review on this little guy. This is the Ferrum Forge Drop Protech Mordax. Dang, that's a mouthful. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, guys. Okay, today we're ready to do the review on the excellent button lock flipper. I really think we need more button lock flippers. This thing is a Ferrum Forge design. It is made by Protech and distributed by Drop. It's just a lot. So I call this the Protech Mordax. So Protech actually makes, I think there's a total of 4 kind of button flippers that they have. The most popular right now is the Malibu. And I was fixing to buy one. Jake over at Bearded Gear had one, did a review on it, absolutely loved it. And I was like, ooh, yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. But then shortly after that, he had posted a video and he had all 4 models, and I can't remember all the models' names, of the button lock flippers that Protech has made. And then I got to see the Malibu next to the Mordax, and I've got big hands. I like bigger knives. And this one was bigger than the Malibu, and I thought it would be a better fit for me, so I picked it up. And I'm so glad I did. I've been on a Protech kick too. I've bought like 3 over the last little while. Protech is an American company, American made. All this stuff is made in America. That is important to me, important to a lot of us. It's not an absolute necessity, but I try to buy American made first. And this is. And like I said, button lock flippers, we need more. This thing is addicting, okay? Holy crap. Okay, you got the profile. Let's see what we got here. We have 6061 T6 aluminum handles, which is very common with Protech knives. You have CPM S20V steel.
What the hell did you just say?
Steel, not so common with Protech knives. CPM S20V is one.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
One of my favorite steels. It's just an all-around great steel, premium steel that you can get on a lot of production knives. And so that is, love it, because a lot of the other ones that I have are in 154 cm, which I do like 154 cm. It's just if I had a preference, I would want 20 CV. It's just my thing. This thing, the action on the flipper is amazing. That's really something that is hard to get right, I've noticed, on some button lock flippers. The action on this thing is superb. Now, can you fail it? Yep. See how I failed that? But if you do this the right way, which in my opinion is a push button, you just push this thing in, it's going to rock it out there every single time, 100% reliable. So that's awesome. I really enjoy this flipper. You can light switch it, but I'm telling you, if you just do the push button, absolutely wonderful. Going to deploy 100% of the time. My lighting is weird right now. These come in 2 different variations. They come in a multitude of colors, but they come in 2 different variations. You have the plain model here, which is what I really like, but they also have a milled model that has a lot of grooves and stuff cut out of it, and I think it looks cool. It's just not as appealing to me as the plain version. I'm going to see if I have something around here that can show you the milled version. I may not. Oh, there we go. So as you can see here, those are what the milled versions look like. It's still pretty cool. I just thought that I would like the plain version better. Kind of glad that I did. You pay a little bit more money with this, and then of course you get a less. The knife has less weight on it, but I don't really care about weight. You guys know that if you watch my channel for any length of time. You know that weight's not a huge deal for me. So, but I like the way this looks. This plain model. Sorry guys, I'm kind of fumbling over my stuff here. I love the way this looks. And I really dig the green color. Holy crap. I'm so glad I picked the green. I do like green. They did a great job on the anodization of this knife. Superb. I love it. Have carried this quite a bit, and the finish does hold up. Now, obviously, if it's an aluminum anodized knife, it's going to show wear over time. It's just going to happen. It is going to show scratches and whatnot, but it's not as easy to scratch as one might think if you're not if you're kind of hesitant about buying an aluminum handled knife with hard anodized aluminum. It's really not that bad. Like I said, I carry this for quite a bit, and I don't see any marks on this at all. Really happy with it. And then, of course, I have the other Protechs, the Protech SNG, that has the aluminum body handles, and it's the same deal. It's held up really fine, so really like that. The pocket clip on Protech is always awesome. Deep carry pocket clip, recessed screws. You just can't beat it. Now, of course, with the way the design is, you see a little bit of knife sticking out of your pocket, but if that bothers you, then I'm sorry. It will bother some people. I do not care about that whatsoever. The pocket clip blah, blah, works absolutely wonderful in and out of the pocket. It just works great. There is your awesome Ferrum Forge design logo. There's your drop 20 CV, and then of course on this side, Protech USA, baby. Excellent drop point blade. The grinds are great. The finish is great on the blade. You can kind of see, if I can get it to show up, kind of a stone wash finish with a satin flat. You have chamfering along the side of the blade and or swedge, however you want to kind of call that. And it works great. It's even. It came super sharp, and it's just amazing and really fun to play with. Now, this thing, it only has a blade thickness. This is the only thing that some people have a problem with. I'm not so much. But the blade thickness itself is about 120 thousandths, so relatively thin blade stock, and then it comes down to actually a pretty good tip. I mean, it's not dainty at all. However, it's a little thick behind the edge. It could be thinner with 120 thousandths blade stock. It's like a saber grind. So it definitely could have been ground thinner. I know a lot of people complain about that whenever I see reviews on this. It doesn't bother me because it does its job. It cuts absolutely fine. I can still cut apples with it, is it going to do as well as, a Delica maybe? No, it's probably not going to do as well, but it can be done. I don't have to have a 16 thousandths behind the edge knife to do the jobs that I need to do on an EDC basis, and even more robust jobs that I might need a little bit thicker of an edge and a little bit tougher of an edge. Of course, 20 CV, very edge retentive. It keeps its edge for a good long time, sharpens up well. So I really enjoy the 20 CV that they chose to go on this knife. Really well. I mean, if this would have been in 154 CM, it would not have been as exciting for me to purchase. I'll say that. Even though I do enjoy 154 CM. It's not a bad steel at all. It's just this made it a little bit more exciting to me. Now, get to one of my favorite parts of the knife, the ergonomics. I really like the ergonomics. There is no hot spots. There's no jimping up at the top or at the bottom. No jimping anywhere other than the flipper tab, which for me, I do not have to have jimping. It does make it comfortable in the hand. I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere. I have a great saber grip that I feel so much control over this thing. It's not going anywhere, but you see that? You see this thing right there? If you're watching my channel for a while, you know that I am a huge fan of finger choils. This one has a finger choil, so I can choke up on this thing, and it's not as full of a finger choil as I really want. I want it a little bit bigger because I got big sausage fingers. So when I do grip it like this, God, I love the grip. It just is a little pokey. Like it's so weird because whenever I'm running my finger across this thing, it doesn't really feel sharp or pokey at all right here when I'm using the flipper tab. But as soon as I put my finger, it feels pokey right here with my finger. I can't explain it. I just can't explain it on why it feels a little pokey. It's not that uncomfortable or anything, but I notice it more on this knife than I do with my other ones for the finger choil. So I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger. A lot of people would probably be like, no, you're going to sacrifice blade length. Yeah, I get it. It's just my thing. The actual cutting edge of this thing is about 3.4, and the blade length is about 3.6. So I like it. I like it like this. I actually wish it was a little bit longer or a little bit bigger here, so I would feel a little bit more comfortable putting my finger in this area for the finger choil, because right now it's just like a one knuckle, and yeah, it's just a little close. It doesn't, I mean, I've used it like that and I didn't have a problem, but if you have skinnier fingers, I think it would feel a little bit better to you than it does to me. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Listen to this. Ching. Oh. Ching. Oh. I absolutely love the way an aluminum push button flipper sounds. It just gets my juices flowing. I could sit here and not just play with it because it's fun, but play with it because I love the sound. It is amazing. People are probably, well, we're all knife guys here. We all know. If you're coming out of a weird place of the internet just looking for a knife and you clicked on this, it's normal. You don't have to think I'm a weirdo. It's normal in the knife community for people to like the sound of a knife. And I like it. It really is nice. Let's get some size comparisons in this, because the overall length of this guy is about 8 1/4 inches, and that is right around my sweet spot. So as far as compared to the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, you can see very similar. Here it is against the PM3, or the Para 3. So you can see definitely more comparable to the Paramilitary 2. And then I also brought out my only other button lock as of the moment, the Spyderco Schmuck. And that was a fail. Jeez. It's been a while since I've actually handled the knife, really. But the Spyderco Schmuck is one of my most fidgety knives because it's got this really unique flipper here where you can flip it, and then you can lighter flip it. And then, of course, you can Spidey flick it. So very fidgetable. But as far as this being a button lock, when I first got this thing, holy moly, I was like, so much fun. It just adds to the fidgetability of a knife like tenfold. And this actually drops like so much better than the Schmuck. Just falls right down in there. I mean, this one falls just not as good. See how it kind of slicks there, which I might be able to fix that. There's also 2 detents on this thing, and I have not taken the second detent out, so that might help. But this one, you really can't press the button and flick out. You can, but it's not easy to do without taking the second detent. This one, you can. You just press that lock in and out. So basically, you know how a lot of us do with our axis locks. You depress the axis lock, move it out, move it in. Same way with this button lock. I can't. It's kind of behind the camera, so it's a little bit more problematic. But I mean, you can open it that way, and it's also really fun. Now you can kind of notice too, whenever I close it, I've kind of got it to where I can close this thing, but see how it bounces back sometimes. Some people might not like that. It's kind of the nature of the beast, but it will definitely bounce back. I can get it to close without it doing that, no problem. But it is a thing, so just be careful, because if you do that and you're starting to put it back in your pocket, it's not fully closed, it'll cut you. Guess what? I know by experience, because it did happen to me trying to go really fast. This thing, I've not taken it apart, but you can see the simple construction of this knife. The aluminum scales are not milled out, which is fine. They could have probably done on the inside to save a little bit of weight, but not a huge deal. It's like 3.8 ounces. And like I said, you've got a 3.6 inch blade, so not bad as far as ratios are concerned. I think it works really good. The 6061 aluminum is very durable stuff. It is lightweight. They did make a full titanium version of this knife, which I do think is pretty cool. Of course, it did add weight, and I think the weight on this thing is about perfect. So, but if I had the chance to buy a titanium one of these, I would have, but they don't make that anymore. I think it was an exclusive, and I can't remember where, but super nice knife. The blade shape, of course, classic drop point, very utilitarian. This thing really, really did well in my task. I used it a lot just to cut some cardboard and some packages, just a little bit, a few zip ties here and there, which is my basic EDC task, and it performed wonderfully. But just, guys, the main reason I want this knife, and I've got it in my collection right now, is because it is just fun. Button locks are fun. Hands down, one of my favorite style of knives to play with. Do it all day. I can do this all freaking day. My wife drives her crazy. Work drives them crazy. Guess what? I don't care, because it's fun. So, it's just one of those things. We're knife nuts. That's what we do. So, all in all, I am very, very happy with this knife. There's really not much I can say bad about it. The ergonomics are great, other than this being a little bit too small for my fingers. If you have smaller fingers, the finger troll is probably going to work awesomely. So you got great blade steel, great grinds. If you're thinking about buying it, I would highly recommend it. Now, am I going to say this is better than the Malibu? I'm not going to say that because I haven't had a Malibu in my hand. However, the Malibu is a little bit smaller of a knife. So if you like bigger knives, then yes, definitely this one. But I also heard that the Malibu, they tweaked the detent just a little bit. This detent, I think, is superb. Maybe a little bit light. So if they did crisped up that detent on the Malibu, then I can definitely see the appeal there, because yeah, I mean, this one is so good. And if Jake from Bearded Gear says that the Malibu is better, it probably is better. So, but just a beautiful knife. I really, really have enjoyed it. If you're thinking about buying it, I would check it out. Now, it's not exactly a cheap knife. It's about $240. You pay a little bit more for the milled version, but I think it is worth it. You get premium materials. Some people don't like aluminum, but it is a premium material because of, it's very strong. It is lightweight. It's definitely not as strong as titanium. I get it. But as far as the work that I'm going to do with this knife, I don't need that kind of strength out of this knife. Not to say I don't think this thing would withstand to a lot of use. It really would. It is very, very well built. Of course, it runs on cage bearings, so that's what makes it very smooth. I think it's actually like steel washers in there because the button locks are a little bit different on the way they perform. I haven't taken it apart, but as you can see, just a couple of screws and it would be taken apart no problem. It's fit and finish as far as the lines up. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. The lanyard hole. For you guys who like the lanyard, how do you like that? Now that is how you do a lanyard hole. I really enjoy that. Instead of having a hole out here, you slip it through there, get your lanyard if you want it. So that's really super cool. I love it when companies do lanyard holes like that instead of putting a big, huge hole in the knife like this. I mean, this is one of my favorite knives of all time, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. However, it's just a lot of hole out there. It's just a lot. So very well done, Protech or Ferrum Forge for their design, Protech for putting it together. Super, super cool knife. If you have any questions on it, guys, I might be able to answer it. I'm not an expert, but this is such a cool knife. I've had it for a while, and I do see it staying in my collection for quite a bit. If you guys have any suggestions of other button lock flippers that you like, hit me up in the comments. I'd like to know the ones that you like to have. I have handled the Hogue EX1, which I did enjoy. Scott over at Big Bore Knife and Gear let me borrow his and check it out, and I really, really liked it. And even then I was like, man, button flippers so cool, and they are. So let me know if there's any button flippers out there that you enjoy, that you have. See if I can get those on the channel, because they're so much fun. I could buy button flippers for the rest of my life just because they're that much fun. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate it. One thing before we go, I have a raffle going on right now to support a guy in our community, Gary Core EDC. It is epic. Okay, I've gotten so many donations. The donations are amazing. Okay, so I'm going to link it down below. And the video that I link is just the first video. And ever since that video, I've gotten even more knives donated. The video says 2 packages. It's probably going to end up being at minimum 3, even maybe 4 by the time I get all the donations in. Go check out that video. They're only $10 a spot, and we are trying to raise money to help a brother in need. And so I really would appreciate it if you can't donate, share the video to get the word out there. If you can't buy tickets or whatnot, totally understand. Times are tough. But anyway, if you can, go ahead. You get a chance to win some really cool gear. If you check out that video, you'll know what I'm saying. So, guys, stay safe in this crazy world that we're living in, and we will see you in the next one.